I dated a younger man and discovered I wasn't ready for what followed. I thought I was ready when I let him get close. I told myself it was harmless, just conversation, just comfort. But the night he kissed me, I realized something had shifted. A line I had guarded for decades quietly disappeared. What that closeness unlocked wasn't what people might assume. It was deeper, unexpected. And once it happened, there was no going back. This isn't the story you think it is, but it is the story that changed how I see myself forever. My name is Margaret. I'm 62 years old. And what I'm about to share, it's not scandal. It's not a confession meant to shock. It's the quiet kind of story that sneaks up on you, the kind you don't plan, don't announce, and don't fully understand until it's already changed you. 3 years ago, my marriage ended. 34 years together. A lifetime, really. We were celebrating our anniversary at a restaurant we used to love. Candlelight, soft music, familiar silence. And then, without warning, my husband looked at me and said something that split my world in half. He told me he'd never truly wanted me. Not then, not ever. He said he married me because it was expected, because it made sense at the time, because his family approved. I remember staring at my plate as the food went cold. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I went numb. 2 weeks later, I filed for divorce. Everyone had opinions. My sister asked who would want me at my age. I didn't argue, because deep down, I believed her. For 3 years, I lived quietly, alone, convincing myself that romance belonged to another lifetime, that desire had an expiration date I'd already passed. And then, I met someone, not in a dramatic way, not online, not through friends. It happened at a community wellness center. My doctor insisted I needed movement, routine, something to get me out of my apartment. That's where I saw Lucas. He was the instructor. Mid-30s, calm voice, confident posture, the kind of presence that fills a room without demanding attention. I noticed him, and of course I did. But I dismissed the thought immediately. Men like that don't look twice at women like me. Or so I believed. Except, he did. At first, I told myself it was imagination. Loneliness can do that, make you see things that aren't there. But after class one afternoon, he approached me with an easy smile and said, "You're stronger than you realize." I laughed. Actually laughed. Me. Strong. We talked. Just harmless conversation. Weather, music, life. And then he asked if I'd like to get coffee sometime. I almost said no. Fear does that. It whispers excuses that sound like logic, but I said yes, and that single word changed everything. Before I go further, let me say this. What unfolds next isn't reckless fantasy or a guilty indulgence. It's that quiet moment when restraint loosens, and you realize you've already stepped somewhere unfamiliar. Stay with me. Subscribe. Turn on notifications. Some stories ask for your full attention. Coffee turned into long walks. Walks turned into evenings filled with conversation. Lucas listened, really listened. He remembered details, asked questions, looked at me like my words mattered. No one had done that in decades. And then one night, after he walked me to my car, he kissed me, not rushed, not careless, just enough to remind my body that it hadn't forgotten how to respond. Something woke up inside me, something I thought had gone dormant forever. Things moved faster after that, maybe too fast. Dinners at my place, old movies, quiet laughter, and eventually, moments where words faded and closeness took over. I won't describe what happened between us. I don't need to. I'll only say this. He made me feel profoundly seen, not studied, not evaluated, desired. My body reacted in ways that surprised me. I learned sensations existed that I had never been taught to recognize. It felt like discovering color after a lifetime in grayscale. Sometimes afterward, I cried, not from regret, but from the weight of realization. 34 years of marriage, and I had never known this version of myself. With that awakening came shame, whispers I imagined, judgments I feared. A woman my age shouldn't want like this, shouldn't feel like this, and yet I did. I kept it secret. From my daughter, from my sister, from everyone. But secrets show themselves in small ways. Brighter smiles, new clothes, a lighter step. Eventually, My family noticed. My daughter walked in unexpectedly one morning and saw Lucas in my kitchen, comfortable, familiar. The look on her face still haunts me. She was angry, hurt, protective. She told me I was being foolish, that I was being used, that I was embarrassing myself. I didn't hear concern, I heard rejection, and instead of listening, I held tighter to the one person who made me feel alive. Lucas tried to be patient. He said he cared. That age didn't matter. I believed him, because I needed to. When his lease ended, he moved in temporarily. Temporary became routine. Living together changed things. Not everything, but enough. Affection remained. Intimacy still wrapped around me like a familiar melody, but responsibility faded. Effort softened. Money became an unspoken tension. Excuses piled quietly. And yet, every time doubt rose, it dissolved in moments where closeness erased logic. I see now how easily desire can quiet reason. 8 months in, I discovered messages on his phone. Nothing explicit, just possibilities. It cracked something inside me. When I confronted him, he minimized it, said I was imagining things, said I was controlling, and for the first time I felt small again. Still, I didn't let go. That's the part people don't understand, how loneliness can convince you that crumbs are a feast. 10 months after it began, everything collapsed. Lucas lost his job. Motivation vanished. Bills stacked. I was carrying everything, financially, emotionally. The intimacy remained, but it felt transactional now, like something turned on when needed. When my daughter reached out again, I finally heard her fear instead of her anger. That night, Lucas didn't come home. When he returned hours later, the truth was written in silence. I told him to leave, and he did, without argument, just like that. After he was gone, I sat alone for days, empty, ashamed, relieved. Relief surprised me most. The pretending was over. Slowly, I rebuilt, apologized, reconnected, forgave myself. Not fully, but enough. I'm 63 now. Do I regret it? Not completely. I lost things, money, pride, time. But I gained something no one can take. Knowledge. I learned my capacity for feeling didn't expire. That desire doesn't belong to youth alone. That my body, my heart, they were never broken. I'm alone now, and I'm learning to be okay with that. Would I do it again? I don't know. But I know this. Even fleeting desire can leave a permanent truth behind. And that truth is mine. And that truth stayed with me in the quiet moments afterward, in the mornings when sunlight fell across the empty side of the bed, in the evenings when silence no longer frightened me the way it once did. For the first time in years, I wasn't asking myself who I needed to be for someone else. I was asking who I wanted to become for myself. I began walking again, not for exercise, but for clarity. I noticed things I'd ignored before, the sound of my own breath, the steadiness of my steps, the simple comfort of being present in my own skin. There were nights I still reached for what was gone, not for him, but for the version of myself that had felt open, awake, unguarded. I realized I didn't miss the person as much as I missed the permission I had given myself to feel. That permission didn't have to disappear with him. Slowly, I learned something important. Desire isn't something another person gives you. It's something you allow yourself to remember. I stopped apologizing, silently and out loud, for wanting connection, for wanting warmth, for wanting to be seen without explanation. Age didn't take those things from me. Fear did. And fear, I learned, can be unlearned. I don't chase moments now. I don't cling to promises whispered too easily. But I also don't close myself off the way I once did. If something finds me again, genuine, steady, honest, I'll meet it without pretending I'm smaller than I am. And if it doesn't, I still walk forward whole. Because some experiences don't come to stay. They come to remind you of what was always yours. To you, my beautiful viewers, if you ever offered her something you secretly believed she'd never accept, what would you feel the moment she looked you in the eyes and whispered yes? Tell me in the comments. I truly want to know. If this story touched something quiet inside you, like, share, and subscribe, because the next story might be the one that changes everything.